What's going on, everybody? You know, we back. It's another Friday. We'll record on a Friday. You've seen us on a Saturday, I'm sure. It's the X Factor Sports Talk. I'm joined by Troy.
What's
Who's
up?
that? Charles Barkley, the newest member to the X Factor team. He's upgraded. He's not a star. He's not a superstar. He's an X Factor. He's joined the X Factor Sports Talk. Caleb, Troy, how we feeling today, guys?
Doing pretty good. Caleb, how you doing?
Hey, I'm surviving.
Surviving. And for those of you that don't know, which is probably all you, Caleb has COVID. And
So keep him in your prayers.
he is
Just-
quarantining alone in his home and is doing well as of right now. So send your best wishes, your best thoughts towards Caleb today and for the rest of the 2 weeks.
Amen.
But yeah, let's hop right in, man. We got a podcast here, and we're gonna start off with the NFL as we do every week. Me and Fred, we do the predictions weekly, and our record in the playoffs last week is not very good. We both went 3-3, improving Fred's record to 56-27, and improving my record to 58-25. And quick shout out to everybody, all the wild card teams that went home. But there's two in particular I want to highlight. But those ones that lost were the Seahawks, the Washington football team, the Titans, the Bears, the Colts, and the Steelers. I want to give a quick shout out to the Colts and Phillip Rivers and the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger, two great quarterbacks from the 2004 class that have more than likely played their final games in the NFL. Fred, as a lifelong Steeler fan, a Ben Roethlisberger lifer, how you feeling, man? And what are your thoughts on Ben?
I'm going to say this. I fell in love with football at a very young age. I was forced into the Steelers fandom. I'm glad I was. Ben has brought a winning season every year he's been at the helm.
Except for one, but I'm not even sure he played.
So he came in as a rookie, went undefeated. Okay. He has brought what being a Steeler means, or he's embodied what a Steeler means. He's tough. He's hard-nosed. He won't go down at the first sniff of adversity. He's been my quarterback, man.
Yeah,
And he's brought so many wins. Two-time Super Bowl champion. He's been our guy, and it's gonna be super weird when it's his time not to be there and Josh Dobbs is taking over at quarterback. So
yeah, as I said, they both are from the 04 class, and Phillip Rivers was the
Salute.
fourth pick in the draft. Big Ben was the 11th pick, and I just kind of wanted to compare their career stats. Ben threw for over 60,000 career yards,
top 10.
396 touchdowns, 201 interceptions, and his career record was 156, 74, and 1. Six-time Pro Bowler, a two-time Super Bowl champ. And for Phillip Rivers, over 63,000 yards. So he gets the yards advantage, gets the touchdown advantage, got 421, 209 interceptions. But his career nowhere near as good as Ben's. His record was 134 and 106, and he was an 8-time Pro Bowler. And so that's just two of the greats, man, that we will see. Phillip Rivers for sure has a career in broadcasting and all that that comes after football for some. Big Ben, we might be seeing, whenever he was sitting on that bench crying, I'm sure what was going through his mind was it's time.
Sure, Fred's crying too.
Fred was. I can confirm. But, yeah, Fred, so I just wanted to give you your opportunity to bid your farewell per se, because he could honestly come back. It's not out of the question, but he will not.
I think he does, if we're being honest. New offensive coordinator coming in, I think he wants to give it one more go. I don't think
more power to him if he does. But
I think it's minus one of our best receivers.
Juju's
I think it's
too expensive. I can't wait for the offseason conversations, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. But
I want Juju more than anything to stay, but don't think it's happening. I think they draft a running back in the first round, and we hit this ground running next year, baby.
So again, quick shout out to those 6 teams that went home on Wild Card Weekend. Was a great weekend last weekend. And so now we go into the divisional round. And with that becomes both the one seeds. Both the one seeds, play this week. And the first game of the divisional will be the Rams on the road to play the Packers. Fred, where are you going?
Go Pack, go. Plain and simple. Go Cheeseheads. They're gonna wear their cheese heads in the
Pride.
snow. with pride, man. It's supposed to snow in this game. Aaron Rodgers, MVP. He's too good. The Rams, I think, don't have enough offense to keep up.
And one quick note on the Rams: Jared Goff over his last 6 games has 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So
don't overdo yourself. I mean,
yeah, Jared Goff isn't even averaging a touchdown a game. And I love Jared Goff. Been a big Jared Goff fan. I love their defense. I love McVay. But the Packers, man, Aaron Rodgers, it's his time to go. Caleb, you got anything to chime in on this one?
I'm not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers. I don't care who he's
I love that.
That's how I feel, man. He's too good. MVP, plain and simple.
I love that. And in my opinion, the next game, so we all went Packers there. And then the next game, in my opinion, game of the weekend, Saturday night.
I disagree.
Ravens at Buffalo. I think it's going to be an incredible game. But who you going with here, Fred?
I think this is the second best game of the weekend.
I have a feeling I know where you're going.
But I think Buffalo takes it, man. I think Lamar's going to be slipping and sliding in the snow. Slipping and sliding in the snow. A little alliteration for you.
It'll be his first snow game of his career. So
that's actually very surprising because he plays in Baltimore. But I think Josh Allen's too good. Him and Stephon Diggs, easily the best second best quarterback and wide receiver duo this year.
Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams would not be
I thought about it mid-sentence. I was like, oh, wait, yeah, probably. But, yeah, I think Buffalo Bills get done. Good defense. I think Lamar struggles, and the Bills blow them out.
What?
Hot take.
No.
Bills beat them by 30, maybe 40.
Ravens. The Bills rely on a lot of throwing. Their run game has not been there. Devin Singletary, I'm not even sure Zach Moss is actually out for the game. So it's Devin Singletary. They signed Devontae Freeman to their practice squad. So I think this is going to be an absolute dogfight. But the Bills rely on throwing. And Fred, you've alluded to this a lot in the podcast. What is one of the strengths of the Ravens team? Their secondary. Their secondary is very nasty. They can defend. And to be honest, Cole Beasley is cool in the slot. But really the only guy you have to keen on and worry about week to week is –
He said he's cool.
He is cool. I love Cole Beasley. Cool little guy.
1,000-yard receiver.
He's cool. He's cool. I'm not going to say he's elite, but he's cool. But I'm going to take the Ravens, man. They're cool. They're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. Both teams. This is the 2 hottest teams in the NFL outside the Packers going head-to-head, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Caleb, you got anything for this one?
Couldn't said it better myself. I'm going Ravens.
Yes, sir. I like it.
Yep.
All right. Then this game, the very hot Browns team who knocked off Fred's Pittsburgh Steelers on the road, Arrowhead, playing the defending champions, Patty Mahomes and the boys, the Kansas City Chiefs. Fred, who you going?
Chiefs, go. Go ahead. Next question. Chiefs, by a long shot. Blow them out. Beat them by 80.
Yeah, I'm going to also go to the Chiefs. Good run, Browns. Applaud
to you. This is where it ends.
But this is where it ends. This is where your clock's crowing, man, and
you're meeting the best player in football. So
time for you to go back to Cleveland.
Yes,
it's like in March Madness when you see like a lower seed like upset somebody, but the next round it's over.
Just wraps. Yep.
It's like you enjoyed it while it lasts, and you want to see something interesting, but what's going to come up. Yeah,
I love watching the Chiefs. Chiefs are a very good team, and Chiefs. Big, and I'm pretty sure this is your game of the week, Fred.
Absolutely.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road to play the Saints. Quick little thing I want to throw in here before you give your prediction. This year, the Buccaneers and the Saints have played twice. The Saints are 2-0, and they have outscored the Buccaneers in both games 72-26. If you remember, they had that Sunday night game where they absolutely dominated. The Buccaneers won 38-3. And the Buccaneers have only beat one team above 500 this year, and that was the Packers in Week 6. The Saints have won 12 out of their last 14 games. They've only lost one with Drew Brees at quarterback. And then the Bucs are also one of those hot teams, man. Clicking when it matters. The offense is looking very good. Tom Brady looks like Brady now instead of Tom, and he's starting to find his rhythm. But is this too much for Brady and the Bucs? What do you think, man?
Absolutely not. It's Tom Brady in the playoffs. Plain and simple.
Are you going Bucs?
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucs. Absolutely taking the Bucs. What have the Saints done in the playoffs in recent history?
Lost in a wild card.
Okay. Well, here's what's going to happen. They're going to go. They're going to be hyped. And then they're going to look across the sideline. And there's going to be Tom Brady. And there's going to
be a goat in a helmet.
His hair. And he's going to And you know what he's going to do? He's going to go for 405, and he's going to be like,
hot take alert! TikTok.
I feel like
How
it's
we
a hot
feeling?
take. I feel like it's a take. I think it might be cold. He might go for more. No, Buccaneers. I think they beat him.
Yeah, and there's
one
thing you can't count on is your previous wins against Brady, because that stuff don't matter when it comes down to the playoffs. He don't
It's
care
hard to
about
beat a
that.
team 3 times. Hard to beat a team 3 times.
And that it is, especially with a quarterback as great as Brady and an offense as great. And Antonio Brown is looking more and more like Antonio Brown of old. Each and every week, he's getting more in rhythm, more in tune. And if with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and then the Gronk looks like he's rejuvenated, ready to go. That offensive line is very solid. Leonard Fournette has been running a lot better. The defense is unbelievable. Give me the Buccaneers as well. Caleb, what do you think?
I know I said I don't want to bet against Aaron Rodgers. I definitely don't want to bet against Tom Brady.
Can't do it.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you.
Can't do it.
But yeah, so we're towards the end of the NFL season, so with that comes a shorter NFL segment. But yeah, really quick shout out, like I said, to all those teams that lost in Wild Card Weekend. Great seasons, but it's time to focus on next year. And again, shout out to Phillip Rivers and Big Ben. Great careers, respectively. And we hope for the best in y'all's future. Whether Ben comes back or not, I think that could be very interesting. But I just wanted to give them, if this is it, I wanted to give them a quick shout out, tell them great job. And yeah, so we're going to transition into the NBA. And real quick, before we get into the 3-question game with Fred, I wanted to highlight James Harden had his introduction press conference to the Nets today. And just a quick highlights I wanted to hit on here. I wrote a couple notes down. He was asked about his departure from Houston. And he one of the reporters had asked him if, he disrespected his teammates. And James Harden said, "I wasn't disrespectful to anyone. I regret the way it ended, but, for the things that he did out of character. But here I am in Brooklyn." And obviously I pieced some things together and, he said more stuff, but it didn't really matter in the long run of the quote. But yeah, so what is your guys' thoughts? Fred, I'll let you go first, or Caleb, I'll let you go first because you've kind of been sitting there through the NFL segment. So what were your thoughts whenever James Harden said something like that?
I mean, seeing his reaction to the questions and like how much happier he was, dude. It's just like he's just like a little child that's been pouting his way out, and then like the parents finally give in and just give him what he wants, and it's
like you're at the store and you see something that you want, and the kid just starts screaming and crying, and then you finally take the toy off the shelf, and the kid is finally happy, doesn't say a word.
He made the comment that like he had been in Houston a lot longer than anybody else on the team at this point. And it's like, I don't care how true that is when multiple people are saying you're being disrespectful and like saying, like, when you have more than one person saying these things, like, I don't care how long you're around. Like it's more than likely true at that point. And like, you can't help but take like Boogie and John Wall's side when it comes to something like that. Cause like, you don't want to show up to training camp and you don't want to have a good attitude and you want to pout your way out and say these things to the media and stuff. Like, yeah, I'd be saying the same stuff if I were them. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
What are your thoughts, Fred?
Good for him, I guess. No, I mean, if you're in a bad situation, you want out. I mean,
yeah, me and you are very pro, player movement, player power, but you are more against guys wanting to join other superstars. If I'm speaking for you here, but you like it when a guy sticks through a city, don't you? Because I remember whenever AD got traded, you were not happy with the way that whole thing went down.
I don't care if it's handled correctly. Yeah. The AD situation not handled well. James Harden, not well.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it, and I don't care. Of course, I'd wish every team had a superstar. That'd be fun to watch. Yeah. But if you're going to do it, handle it privately during the off season. Let's not, or just if you want to get a trade, be like, hey, trade me. Don't act like a fool.
Yeah,
if you will.
So and then he had said like he evaluated the team and realized they weren't going to compete for a championship. And at this point in his career, that's what he wants to do. Like, yeah, I get that. That's
fine. If that's then
the way you handled it, man, it's like I can't get with all that.
Yeah,
that's my thing.
Yeah, and then he was also asked how the three. Obviously, a big question would be how the three of them will play, and what it's going to take for them all. And the question was how the three of them will come together and gel. And he kind of just said chemistry, sacrifice, and that we are all elite. We are all unselfish. We play basketball the right way. So he he stated all that, and in my opinion, I'm gonna kind of take this one, and I'm gonna say James Harden does not play basketball the right way. He doesn't guard, one, and two, he's iso ball. He dribbles a lot, and he was in this interview. What I liked was he was saying how he'll do anything to win. He will sacrifice anything in order to win. He has gained all the money you can make at the end of the day. When it comes to his contract, it's massive, it's huge, but he hasn't won anything. And so whenever he was coming with the win attitude and he'll do whatever it takes, and how the team really can use his playmaking, where Kai and KD can do their own thing. They're not great passers. Kyrie is not a great passer. Kevin Durant is smart, but he's not a great passer. James Harden's a really good passer, has led the league in assists before. And, he averages big assist numbers. And so I like that side of it. But to say you guys all play, basketball the right way, Kevin Durant plays basketball the right way. James, I'm kind of against. What do you guys say?
Kyrie doesn't even play basketball right now. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I don't know. We said it on the video when the night that the trade went down. Like, all three of us were like, I just don't see how they play well together at all. I mean, I don't see him giving into a role where it's like he's not going to want the ball in his hands every play or every other play. And the same with Kyrie, and the same with KD. I think KD's going to have to step up and be the leader for this team. And I mean, can he do that effectively is like a big question, because if he's not going to do it, who is? I could this could go really, really well, or it's going to go downhill fast. I mean, I don't know. Fred,
what do you think, Fred?
I think, like with LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh, you knew it was going to work because they all could play a specific role. I just don't see the roles. Like,
there's only one ball.
I think a lot of superstars don't play defense, so I don't think that's a big deal. I can name 10 guys in the league right now who don't play defense.
Yeah.
And it works.
The whole Washington Wizards team.
I don't think KD plays basketball the right way, because I think KD plays basketball a way no one else can play. And it's not bad. He's the best offensive player in the league. He's 7 foot, can dribble, and he can shoot better than anybody else.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't think it's going to work. I think basketball-wise, it's not going to work. Personality-wise, not going to work. I just don't see it working at all. Do I want to see it work? Absolutely. They'd be a lot of fun to watch. Because I think they could compete with the Lakers if it worked. But
I don't think they can compete with the Lakers.
Yeah, what are we defining compete as?
Make it to the finals
and lose.
Take it to 6 games. Yeah.
6, yeah, maybe.
Because I've said multiple times, nobody's winning the championship this year but the Lakers. So everybody else can have their fun.
There are things that can happen that could put like again, I'm going to say this again. If the Celtics get Vucevic, please, Boston, make a move for Nikola Vucevic.
Do they have the cap for it?
Yeah, they have the trade exception. It's the largest trade exception in NBA history. They can move rookie contracts with picks and take on a max contract player and not have to move off Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kemba, Marcus Smart, all those guys. They could literally move like Romeo Langford, Robert Williams. Do what?
Who do they trade for him?
It depends what the Magic would want. I would trade Robert Williams, Peyton Pritchard, Romeo Langford.
They like Pritchard.
And three first-round picks. I
don't see them moving on from Pritchard.
But that's just what I'm saying. If it's to get Nikola Vucevic, you don't think they'd move Peyton Pritchard?
I'd move Kemba Walker.
I mean, I would too, but I don't think the Magic want Kemba.
I would keep Pritchard, but I would move.
He's balling.
I think any other young piece on their teams.
Yeah, Romeo Langford.
Obviously, outside of like Tatum and Brown. I mean,
I was about to say you start. I wouldn't move Marcus Smart.
No, but I don't.
I mean, if you're looking at their best players, Jaylen Brown. I mean, build around Jaylen Brown.
Shut up.
That's what you got to do.
Stop this. Stop this nonsense. Stop this nonsense.
When you look at top way too early MVP votes, I mean, you see Jaylen Brown in top 5. I don't see Tatum.
No, you don't. Where? Please show me where you're seeing Jaylen Brown top 5 MVP. Please send me the link.
Fred's bedroom. He's voting Jaylen Brown top 5.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that went there. But let's just transition.
Jaylen Brown is the worst player in the NBA.
No, he's not. But he's not better than Jason Tatum. He's not better than Jason Tatum.
He is 100% the best player on that team, and it's not even close.
No, he's not.
Best defender.
I mean, more power to you for feeling that way, but come on.
He plays with heart, man. He plays with the most heart. Jason Tatum acts like he don't care. Jaylen Brown's out there trying every second. Hey.
Okay. we're going to transition to the 3-word game or the 3-question game. Now you got my mind jumbled. I don't even know what we're doing. Jason Tatum. Okay. Regardless.
Second best player on the Boston Celtics.
It don't matter. Stop.
He might be the third behind Kemba.
Stop. Okay. We're going to transition into
Maybe
a 3-question game with Fred.
Aiden Pritchard.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Okay. Let's get off that topic. But question number 1 for you, Fred. Can Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid take the 76ers to the next level, which would, in my opinion, be the Eastern Conference Finals? They made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals before. They lost in 7 to the Raptors by that incredible game winner by Kawhi Leonard. But, yeah, can they take that next step into the Eastern Conference Finals this season?
If the Nets work out, no. If the Nets don't work out, yes. I think it's more –
If the Nets are like a, as constructed, they don't, pull off another trade. I don't know what they would do, or they're going to add people or whatever. But if they were to play in the second round, right now, as constructed, both teams, Ben Simmons, and those boys, who would you take in a head-to-head game, 7-game series?
Brooklyn.
Caleb, who would you take?
Brooklyn.
Okay,
I don't even think it's as much as I think this question is not even as how good the Sixers are; it's how good the Eastern Conference is as a whole.
It's crazy. We're gonna get into that a little bit later.
Actually, let me say the top half of the Eastern Conference is as a whole, because I think I don't see a world where Boston's not in the Eastern Conference Finals, and if the Nets work out, I don't see a world where they're not in the Eastern Conference Finals.
What do you think, Caleb? I can see your mind turning over down there.
76ers are tough. I said in one of my videos when I first started doing all this stuff that this is the year to bet on the 76ers, because I think they have a very solid team around those two.
Oh, yeah.
Spinning them around with shooters and defenders. I think Seth Curry's a really good pickup for them.
And Tyrese Maxey has looked incredible.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I was high on them, because I remember when I made the video, you texted me and you were like, "Oh, you're high on 76ers, huh?" I was like, "Yeah." So, but it's just with Brooklyn making the moves that they did, I don't know. I think it would be really, really competitive, but it's just it's one of those things, man, where if the 76ers are hot, they're a scary team to face. Yeah. But if they're cold, then I think you could beat them by 25. Because once they start missing shots and Joel's not making shots, he's going to start getting he's going to be mentally out of the game really quick. Yeah. So it's they're a team, they're a potentially really scary matchup, but at the same time, they're a team that if they're cold, you want to play every single night. So it's off, man.
So Fred, was your answer no?
Yeah, the answer was no.
Caleb, was your answer no?
To what?
Making the Eastern Conference Finals?
No.
Okay, mine's yes. So I'm glad that we
will, or that they could.
I think they will.
Oh yeah,
I think they're the second best team in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. I've watched them, and I watched them last night, and the way Maxey has just, and Seth Curry's not healthy right now.
They are right now. I just don't think
Maxey coming into his own while Seth's out, and while they're trying to figure everything out with the COVID situation. I think it was a blessing in disguise, because Maxey got those minutes on the ball and got to shoot as many times as he wanted. And I think that's huge for him. He got so confident during that stretch. Now you watch him, you're like, oh, he's getting about 2.5 steals right now a game. Oh, he's also scoring about 20 points a game right now. Oh, he's also grabbing 5 rebounds at the 6'3" guard that he is. Oh, he's also hitting his shots. It's you start looking into it, you're like, wow, Maxey is starting to step up, and he's just a rookie. And I really like him. I think Ben Simmons is very undervalued. The way he rebounds the ball, he defends very well. I'm not high on Ben Simmons, never have been, because in my opinion, you have to shoot to make it long term and be a very good player in the league. But with Embiid, and Tobias Harris is so undervalued, one of the most underrated players in the game. He has a beautiful jumper on him. Danny Green, very disrespected. And with the Lake Show, obviously, he was very disrespected. Caleb got on Twitter a few times defending him for, coming at Laker fans.
Yeah.
But Danny Green's one of those guys, like you said, when they're hot, he can knock shots in bunches, and they're a scary team. And I think they're better than the Nets. I think that they're right there with the Celtics. And I would say, yes, they make the Eastern Conference Finals this year.
So one thing I'll say about them is I think it was on Zach Lowe's podcast. I forget who it was that said it. It might have been Zach Lowe. He was like, they're a team that you need to see them overperform than what you expect them to really have faith in them. Because it's like every year you expect them to get to like the second round and then fade out. And so it's like to really have faith in them, you need to see up to that point, you need to see them overperform and play bigger than what their expectations are. And it's like, I just don't have enough faith in them as like an organization from 1 to however many guys they play, like 9, like from 1 to 9 to like go out there and overperform from now until like a deep playoff run. And that's why I'm like, I just can't bet them over Brooklyn as much as because I really, really want to, but I just.
I love how we're not even talking about Milwaukee.
Yeah, and that kind of segues us into the next question. Is the Eastern Conference finally better than the Western Conference? Because there was this narrative for a really long time that the Western Conference was so dominant. Well, LeBron was on the East, obviously, and people were always bashing LeBron because, you're in the Eastern Conference. You couldn't do this in the West. And then he goes out West, dominates the conference, and now everybody's like, oh, let's go East. Now everybody's like, well, is the Eastern Conference finally better? What do you think, Fred?
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
No. Top 3 players in the world's in the West.
Who's top 3 then?
Okay, I'll say arguably Kawhi, LeBron, and AD.
KD's better than Kawhi and arguably Anthony Davis. But I would take AD right now. Anthony Davis and LeBron are 1 and 2 in the world right now.
I'm just thinking about the last 2 years. Kevin Durant hasn't played.
Do what?
So when they want to be, when AD's not just like walking through every game.
And even when he is, what's crazy? He gets about 20 points.
Yeah.
He shoots 8 for 11 with 12 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 8 of 8 from the free throw line. It's like, what? Like
the Western Conference is better just because the Lakers are in there. I mean,
when you look at the depth, though, you kind of have to lean towards the Eastern Conference. I think the Eastern Conference, in terms of teams that you're just rolling out, it's like the Bucks, very good. And then you got we've talked about 76ers, Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets. And, you got the Indiana Pacers who are starting to perform. You got the Hawks at the back end of the conference, who I was very high on coming into the year. And, they're still a solid team. They can beat really good teams and then go up against like the Cavs or somebody and just look awful. And that's kind of what the Blazers are doing right now too. They're playing really well against good teams, and then against the bad teams, they look awful. So, you start looking at it, it's a tougher question now than it has been in years past, because you could easily just be like Western Conference. But this year, I think it's interesting. So Fred, you still sticking with the West, and again, you got the Blazers, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Lakers, and then you start kind of getting down a little bit after you name off about 4 of them. Then you start having to scrape for like the Warriors are okay, and then I don't have a list in front of me, and then you can just keep naming off some that are just okay players, okay teams.
I think it's the same way in the East.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like it's just all about preference at that point. And so, Caleb, what do you think?
My gut reaction says East, honestly, and it's weird to say that. It's never been the case. But if you look at the West, I think there's like from 8 down, there's nobody where like I see them and I'm like, wow, I would have thought they would be better than where they're at. You know what I mean? Like the Spurs, I think, are overperforming. The Warriors, I wasn't really high on them, but it's like the Pelicans are low. I wasn't high on them. And then if you look at the East, you have like the teams like the Raptors who are struggling right now. The Heat are at number 11. The Hornets are playing really, really well. So it's like you have teams in the East that are underperforming and towards the bottom, but you expect them to pick it up.
Even Brooklyn is struggling right now. 7-6, a game over 500. They're in the middle of the pack right now, kind of in the lower echelon of the conference.
Yeah, and if you look at the West, it's like all the teams that are from literally like 8 down. I'm like, yeah, I didn't expect them to be really high. You know what I mean? Whereas in like the East, it's like they'll pick it up, and there will be 8 solid teams in the East. Whereas in the West, it's like that number 8 seed could be a team that's like okay. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of with Fred on this one as well. I'm going to lean the West after because I think the Phoenix Suns are a very dangerous team. I think the Utah Jazz are very underrated of just a team. They've always been underrated. And the Nuggets are right now the 7 seed. You're telling me a 2 seed wants to go up against the guys who just made it to the Western Conference Finals? No. that'd be a tough first round matchup. And then, like you said, you start looking at the bottom. You got Fred's Kings down there. You got the Pelicans down there. You got the Warriors who are going to be around there. And Steph Curry, I don't want to play him in a playoff game. He
I
could
wouldn't play the Kings in the playoffs. I'll tell you that.
I would want to. If I'm I'm a Laker fan, I want to play the Kings. Give me the Kings. But Luke Walton isn't a coach.
Kings in
But
7.
sorry, had to go on a little rant there. But the Mavericks as a middle.
Evan, I'm weak. I hate this, man.
But yeah, so I would lean Western Conference right now, just because the Hornets are. I predicted at the beginning of the season for the Raptors to finally have their year where they fall off, and I watch them and I'm like, Pascal Siakam makes everything so difficult that. Like, I don't know why he does it, because he's a solid young player. He really is. He has promise. He's a very smooth guy. He has moments where you're like, wow. But then there's moments where you're just like, why in the world would you, like, you're wide open. Like, he had a game-winning attempt, I think, against the Warriors, and he, like, dribbled left. And then for no reason, he spun into a shot. It's like, you got nowhere. You created no separation. You got Andrew Wiggins, who is backpedaling the whole way. Just stop on a dime and pull up. Why you got to spin?
I think it's harder in the moment.
I think it is too. But
can I ask a random question, just off topic, really quick about lower? Is it panic mode? How bad should you panic if you're the Wizards? Like, how extreme are you panicking?
Trade now.
Trade?
I would move.
You
Beal.
Can't build around him
Right now.
What are you going to build around?
I would move Beal.
Yeah, you got to move him. Get capital.
I think first you need to fire Scott Brooks. See how that goes.
You need to fire the whole front office at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
bringing Russell Westbrook in.
Oh no, I agree. But that was like really the only.
That's the only thing they could do, and they tried it. Got to give it to them. I mean, Bradley Beal's leading the league in scoring, and they're what, 3-8?
3-8. Yeah, they're horrible defensively. Horrible. I think you need to bring in a new coach and try to find some.
And you need to strike while the iron's hot.
You got to clear house.
Bradley Beal's one of the hottest players in the league right now. I have sung Bradley Beal's praises for years. And last week on the podcast, for those of you that watched, Fred, he shouted out Bradley Beal saying, get him on a contender. And I'm right there with him. Get that man in a position where he can succeed. And a team that Fred threw out there was the Phoenix Suns. And a guy I wouldn't be scared to trade, even though it kind of stems you out of a big man. I wouldn't be scared to trade DeAndre Ayton. That dude, man, he frustrates me more than any big in the league. Kid's potential is so high, yet he plays with no heart, and it frustrates me. And that was a good off-topic question there. What would you do? Since you asked the question, I'm going to throw it back at you. What would you do?
I fire Scott Brooks first.
First thing, you're not even moving off anybody. You're just firing.
Not yet.
I don't think it's the coach's problem.
They need to find some kind of. They need to bring somebody in that's going to bring some defensive mindset for that team, because
it's just the roster's so poorly constructed, man.
Yeah, and I mean, with Thomas Bryant tearing his ACL, Westbrook's out for a while. I mean, there's not much they can really do up to this point, and so it's like
get maybe a young guy. Get maybe just one young guy, and then a slew of picks.
Tell you what,
talk to the Thunder. They got picks.
If Bradley Beal's getting traded, I want to see him go to the Mavs.
That would be a nice little team.
How do you think him and Luka would play together?
Anybody with Luka would play great.
They'd have to trade Kristaps.
Bradley Beal played with John Wall.
Yo, get Kristaps out of there.
No. I love Kristaps.
My man, fragile. My man built like a soap bottle. This man, get him out. I love Kristaps.
Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor.
Hold on. Built like a.
I think bring in a new coach or someone along that mindset that can try to bring in some defensive ability to this team. And after 25, 30 games, if that doesn't work out, ship him. Ship Bradley Beal out. I
mean, they're giving up 121 points a game. That ain't going to get it done.
Yeah, they can't defend. But we're going to transition into question number 3. And again, so that question was, is the Eastern Conference finally better than the West? Fred stuck with no. I stuck with no. But Caleb was the oddball and went with the yes. So, and let's move on to question number 3. And this is something I want to do every week or two, where we, just give, it's like a power ranking almost for all 3 of us, where we give a top 5 NBA teams right now in the league. And of course, you know, with everything going on with the Celtics right now, they haven't played in like a week. I'm pretty sure they play tonight. Yes, they do. They tip off at 7:30. I'm so excited. They're probably really
Good
excited.
game tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm really
Got to get
excited.
Jaylen Brown going, man. Got to get him going.
I'm really
Gotta get him going
excited
early.
to watch the games tonight. But yes, so the Magic and the Celtics. But again, who right now, Fred? Let's go to you. Go 5-1, and as quick as you want to go, you can harp on a team if you want to. If not, just 5-1. What do you think, man?
Number 5, I got the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo and the first best player on their team, Chris Middleton. They're just too talented. I don't see them really falling off. I think they'll just stay consistently in the top 3 seeds in the East. I mean, Giannis is one of the best players in the world, as much as he's plays kind of goofy or whatever you can say about his play style, but he is an absolute freak. So for that reason, I got them at number 5. Number 4, I got the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid's playing out of his mind. He's easily the best big, I think, this year so far behind Anthony Davis. He's just been on a tear. Ben Simmons playing well. Like Troy said, these young guys are stepping in, starting to develop a role and developing nicely. Number 3, I got the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they're just going to be good. They got pieces around them. Lou Williams struggling, guys like that. But again, you got 2 of the top players in the league. It's going to come together. They're going to be there, and that's how they're playing right now. Number 2, I got the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown. I mean, what else can you say about that kid? He's leading the team in scoring. He's leading the team in basically everything. He's carrying that team to being the second best team in the league. I really do believe that. I think he's better than Jason Tatum. But with Jason Tatum, I mean, they're great together. I think their chemistry looks good together. Once they get Kemba back, I think it's going to be scary. I think Kemba just needs to look at Jaylen Brown and say, hey, this is your team. Go run it. Number 1, if the Lakers. I mean, if I could have put the Lakers 1 through 5, I would. They're just that good, better than everybody else. Best 2 players in the world, I think, right now, and good coach, good front office. They're just the best team.
Good's an understatement for that front office.
They're the best
coaching staff.
Best everything.
Elite.
They had their years of struggle. Had 10-year gap between their last championship, and they're back.
And we back. All right, Caleb. So I'm just going to go over Fred's list again. At 5, he had the Milwaukee Bucks. At 4, he had the 76ers. At 3, he had the Clippers. At 2, he had the Celtics. And at 1, he had the Los Angeles Lakers. And Caleb, your top 5, 5-1. Shoot.
I'll go number 5. I'll go the Trailblazers. I know their record is
whoa.
Their
With
record
Nurkic getting hurt today? With Nurkic getting hurt
that's
today?
why I have them number 5.
You'd have them higher if he was
I
healthy?
have them 4 or 3 because just with the hot streak they're on right now.
I love the Blazers.
Yeah. I think
I don't see it.
And maybe that's more of like where they're rolling right now and where they're going to go. Because they are 7-5. I have their schedule pulled up right here. They've beat the Raptors, the Kings twice. That's
2 hard wins right there, I'll tell you.
They have beat they beat the Lakers though too. So it's like I just think the Blazers.
Yeah, they
he got so defensive over his Lakers.
I think the way those 2, and like I said, that's probably more of like how they're rolling right now than overall completely. But I think now Nurkic getting hurt, yeah, that sucks. And I think they might take a step down, but I could see them going up maybe like to number 4. But I think where they're at right now, it's a good spot with the way those 2 guards are playing. I think CJ McCollum, if he keeps it up, he's going to be a first-time All-Star this year. So I'll go to them number 5. Then I'll go the 76ers number 4.
Don't blame me.
They're really tough. And that's the weird thing about ranking these teams so early is like the teams at the top of the league. There's like you look at their schedule and it's like
you look at their records right now, a lot of similarities when you start looking at records.
They haven't beat really like good teams. Like the 76ers have beat the Wizards and the Knicks, lost to the Cavs, beat the Raptors and the Magic and the Hornets twice, and then the Wizards again, but then have lost to the Hawks, the Nuggets, the Nets. But then they beat the Heat twice, and I think that's kind of tough to do. I think beating a team back to back like that, especially like the Heat. So that's why I'm gonna throw them in at number 4. And then number 3, I will. Ooh, this is tough, man. I'm not okay. Maybe hot take. I'm not putting the Clippers in top 5 just because their inconsistency, game in and game out. I just can't do it. When you get beat by 50, I'm not I'm not gonna put you in there, man. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't think you can sleep on them throughout the year, but I just think right now I won't do it just because they're so inconsistent. Number 3.
Well, I couldn't stay for that one.
Number 3, hot take. I will go the Indiana Pacers.
Where's the Boston Celtics?
Indiana Pacers. I think they're really
They have
hot.
Jaylen Brown. They have the MVP on their team.
I was
haven't
expecting you
played
to
them.
go Pacers 5.
No, they haven't played in a week. I want to see how they look today.
I respect that.
Yeah, I think the Pacers are really, really tough. I think you can't sleep on them at all. They put a hurting on the Trailblazers yesterday. Yesterday.
They did.
I'm really high on the Pacers. Me and Troy have a bet going on about them. I'm really high on them. I'm going to show them some love. Now, if the Celtics had been playing, I wouldn't put the Pacers over them. I just think with the Celtics taking so many games off right now, there's a lot of questions. And then number 2, I will go the Bucks. I think Giannis, Chris Middleton's playing out of his mind too. He's shooting absurd. I like that team a lot. I think they're a potential sleeper for a championship run. So I'll go them number 2 just because of how good they are at 1 through 3, 1 through 5. I mean, and then obviously Lakers number 1. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
I think that
LeBron is choosing when to actually start trying in games, and they're winning night in and night out. I think that you can't.
I don't even think he hasn't sat out once.
No.
And coming into the season, I was very low on LeBron because in fantasy and in just terms of his numbers.
he's been great in fantasy. I'll tell you
I
that.
predicted him on All NBA third team or second team, one of the two, and he's an All NBA first teamer. He's the front runner for the MVP. If anybody was voting today and they didn't vote LeBron,
I'd put Anthony Davis over him.
I wouldn't. Anthony Davis has taken some days off. He's really kind of.
He is balling.
He is. Don't get me wrong, but what LeBron is doing at age 36 and on the shortest offseason of all time, and what he is absolutely every night, back-to-backs, it doesn't matter. He's there. He's unbelievable. He's the most durable superstar we've ever seen, and he's just so much fun to be around and to watch night in and night out. What's up, Caleb?
What's your take on that shot the other night he had against the?
It was the best shot I have seen, and I've watched a lot of Steph. It is the single hardest shot I have seen live in my life.
Which one are y'all talking about?
Where he pump faked in the corner, shot
and turned around
to Dennis Schroeder and said bet, because they had a bet before the game that nobody knew about where Dennis Schroeder called him out and said he couldn't hit a 3 where he turns around and he put a Benjamin on it.
I thought he had.
Hold on.
Right
Are you
there.
saying hardest like difficulty or like?
No, it's
Okay.
like just
I
tough.
was
Like that was like no.
It's just a corner
not,
3.
not difficulty. Not difficulty, but just tough. Like that is so hard to do. Like that's hard.
I think Damian Lillard's shot against Paul George was the toughest shot.
Well, yeah, but
I'll say one thing.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing without trying to get off topic too much. The way the bench reacts anymore in the NBA drives me insane. I think it's so unprofessional. I like
get out of
Oh,
here.
you don't-
Get
you
out
don't
of here.
you don't
I
like
don't
the
I don't like that at all.
Running onto the floor.
I don't like that. Let the guys they do this thing called basketball, which is a game. I don't know if anybody knows this.
I get why they do it.
And it's fun. You have to hype yourself up to go work. They work out every day for a living. They literally destroy their bodies. They put on a show for millions of people every night. If the guys want to have a little fun, I hate whenever sports analysts and sports talk guys run onto the court, go naked onto the court, take off your shoes and run on the court. Have fun. Like they enjoy their job. And that's what makes like me as a Laker fan so excited and makes me love this team even more. I was talking to my girlfriend and I was comparing them about how much fun, like compared to the 2019-2010 season, like where, Kobe was playing at his best and Powell was there. And, they may not have celebrated like this, but just like fun group that is so professional. You struck a nerve with that one. I don't like that.
I can tell. I can tell.
And whenever the Brooklyn Nets,
Hey,
whenever
Caleb,
they
it
were
happens a
dancing-
lot, bud. You just gotta.
Whenever
Right.
the Brooklyn Nets were
Somebody fight.
dancing,
You gotta let them rant. You just gotta let them rant.
Oh, I
man.
hated it when the Nets were. I
Hey,
get,
the three dance.
yeah. Like the reason they're doing it this year, I get it because you need the energy in the building. That's fine. But like, I don't know. I think it gets a little too much at times, and it
I
kind of.
disagree completely. I don't think it's done enough. I love it because it shows that these guys
The
care.
Clippers
These
are
guys
doing
love it.
I'd be pissed.
No, I wouldn't.
Ooh.
No, because what they do from the bench.
Hey,
is
Caleb's
they
sitting here
yell.
just stirring, boys.
No, it's cool. I love it. But to say that if the Clippers don't do that, and you want to know why? Because they're
he's
not
hot.
having fun. They're not having fun. I mean, if any other team does that, more power to them. I love it. That's why I said the Brooklyn Nets whenever they did their three dance. I think it's awesome. It means that a team is so entwined that they're celebrating their teammates' successes. And I'm all for it. Even if the Clippers want, dude, enjoy your teammates' success. Enjoy everybody around you, because that's the reason the Clippers failed last year. And I'm off my soapbox. I'm going to give you my top five. So again, Caleb's was 5, the Trailblazers, 4, the 76ers, 3, the Pacers, 2, the Bucks, and 1, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Gotta get
And a
credit.
team that is off of all of our top fives is the Brooklyn Nets, which is very, very interesting going in.
We haven't seen him play.
Yeah,
I mean, I get you, but I'm just saying, Fred, you were real high on the Brooklyn Nets
I'm
this year.
still high on him. The question was so far this season.
I got you. At 5, I got the Dallas Mavericks. I think that they are very underrated. Luka Doncic is a top 5 player in the league. He's an unbelievable player. Kristaps Porzingis, I don't know how you can hate watching Porzingis. The way he spreads the floor as a 7'3" big man.
I never said I hated watching him.
It's
I
so
said
new
he's
age.
fragile.
And he defends the paint. He defends the paint fairly well.
Whoa. There was no Kristaps Porzingis.
You told him to trade him.
Yeah, because he gets hurt a lot.
Nah. So does
he's a great
so does Kawhi,
player.
but he's one of the best superstars in the league. Can't trade him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when Kawhi gets hurt, he comes back and hoops.
So does Porzingis.
Yeah, but he's hurt all the time.
So is Kawhi. We can do this all
No.
night.
No,
But
he
yeah,
is
the
not hurt
Mavericks
all
at
the time.
5. Go Luka Doncic. He was last week's player of the week in the Western Conference. Averaged over 30 points. Averaged over 11 rebounds. Averaged over 12 assists. Kid's unbelievable. Very fun. He's very awkward to watch, but he's so smooth. Like he's so smooth. He's so good. So yeah, I have the Dallas Mavericks at 5. At 4,
Phoenix.
I got the Los Angeles Clippers. I think that the Clippers, the way they can defend everywhere. Nicholas Batum was such an underrated signing. Like this guy is such a hooper. Like Nicholas Batum is he's tough.
I'm gonna call him a hooper.
Now, if we're talking about
Cook
hoopers,
you.
you're talking me, LeBron, AD, guys like that. But Hooper for Nick, he's a, I mean,
Best
you
role
gotta talk
player they got.
What'd you say?
Best role player they got.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Ooh.
wait, what?
Not even close.
I don't agree with that.
Who is? Patrick Beverly? Get out of town. He's the most overrated.
I'd say Zubac.
player
I say
in the
my
NBA.
man Zubac.
Zubac, no. They had to sign Ibaka, and Ibaka doesn't even play in the last minutes of the game because he's not Ibaka anymore. But anyway, at 3, I got the 76ers. I think y'all are too low on them. I think
I
that
put him at 4. What do you mean too low?
too low. Top 3 team in the league.
What?
Top 3 team
I
in the
put him
league.
in the 20s.
Top 3 team in the league. But yeah, 76ers, very good team. At 2, I'm going Boston Celtics, just like Fred.
Jalen Brown, sure.
Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, and the boys. And like you said, they're getting back Kemba. And Kemba, if he can, excel in this, if he would just accept an off-ball role, that'd be big time, and I would love it. And then at 1, I mean, the unanimous Los Angeles Lakers. They're so much fun to watch. Just a fun team. Love my guys. God, get that out of here. But so my top 5 Mavericks, 4 Clippers, 3 76ers, 2 Celtics, and 1 Lakers. So
I really wanted to put the Mavs in there, man. I really did.
I would have put them in.
That's your team,
Obviously.
isn't it, Caleb?
If I had to pick one, yeah, that's my team. I love
Yeah,
it.
so that concludes our 3-question game with Fred. And so now every week we do the matchup of the week, little game of the week. But obviously last week's got postponed. We had the Warriors and the Suns as our matchup of the week. It was going to be played tonight. But obviously due to all the protocols and such, the Phoenix Suns had to cancel. So new age. It's 2021. We have to be adaptable here. So no game of the week last week. It would have been a very good game, but for this week, we're going Lakers at Bucks. It's on Thursday night, January 21st. Hopefully this one does not get postponed. It's at 7:00 p.m. on TNT. The Lakers are 10-3, first in the West. The Bucks, they are 8-4 and second in the East. And both of the hottest teams, the Bucks are averaging a crazy 121 points per game, giving up only 109.5 points, making them an 11.5 point differential each game. That is so incredibly tough. They average about 47 rebounds per game, 41% from three as a team. That's very, very good. And then 49.5 from the field. And the Lakers are at 115 points per game, 105 points given up, which makes them at a 10.5 differential. And then 48 rebounds, 40% from three, and 49 from the field. So, from the field. And so, this is two of the hottest teams in the league. You start looking at their schedules. The Bucks have won 6 out of their last 7. Now, granted, 3 of those did come against the Pistons. So, we can only be so high on those 6 wins
So
whenever
bad.
3 of them. But the Lakers are a franchise best 7-0 on the road. This game will showcase 3 of the best players in the NBA: Chris Middleton, LeBron, and Anthony Davis.
I agree. No disagreement here.
But it will be a fun one because the Lakers also coming in hot on winning 7 of their last 8. Obviously, this is next week. So things could be different. Things could look different. Injuries and all that. Things could happen. But Fred, where are you going? Lakers at Bucks?
Lakers.
You think it's close?
No.
You're normally good on calling the blowouts.
Lakers beat them by 30. Chris Middleton and the boys can't get it done. The Lakers are too good. They're not going to lose. Like, if you think they're not going to win the championship this year, I don't know what to tell you.
One thing I'll say about the Lakers real quick before
They're the best team in
send
the
it over
league
to
by
you,
a
Caleb.
long shot.
Early on in the year, though, they do have a sort of like a reputation of losing to the good teams early on. And then
Those big games, man.
when it matters, they win them all.
Regular season, they don't win.
You have the best player to arguably ever touch a basketball.
I
I'm never
understand,
gonna bet
but
against them.
to LeBron and Anthony Davis, this is just another game
Yeah.
until it starts mattering whenever it's the rev up to the playoffs. So this one is very interesting and hard to predict, but it's a very good game. Caleb, where are you going?
Fred went Lakers. I think you'll go Lakers. So just to kind of zig when everybody's zagging, I'll go Bucks. Why not?
Chris Middleton.
I think they're really hot right now, and I'll give them a little bit longer for the shooting to continue. And I think Giannis is going to take this real serious. I don't think AD and LeBron necessarily will. I mean, I think they'll play hard when it comes down to it. I don't think to be engaged for 48 straight minutes. I don't know if that's going to happen.
No. They don't need to.
So I'll go Bucks.
Just still probably win by 20.
Lakers lose every big regular season game when it comes down to it, and then once once it gets to the playoffs, LeBron turns it on, obviously. But so I'll go Bucks.
Yeah, this one, obviously I'm a Laker fan. If you guys can't tell, my background kind of gives it away. But I'm also gonna go Bucks just for the simple fact that this is every team. It's like whenever you go to Kentucky and you play in the SEC, every team circles that game, regardless if you're good or not. Everybody circles that game, and so the Bucks are dying to prove to people that they are legit. Giannis is dying to prove to somebody. And what better time for the Bucks, the Clippers of the East, to win a big regular season game and then lose in the playoffs, just like they're going to. So
this man's hatred towards the Clippers lies deep.
Well, it's not even hatred. I think they're a really good team. I put them in my top 5, but it's just
go next.
You gotta prove to me that you can get it done in big moments, and the Clippers have not done that. They've shown that at moments they can turn into the worst team of all time and get beat by 50 to the Mavericks, but. I think that the Bucks, I think that the Bucks are a nice little team, but again, they're a regular.
We act like they don't have a back-to-back MVP on their team.
Yeah, but he's a regular season player.
He gets so disrespected, though.
He does, but
just because he can't shoot.
Yeah,
he can't shoot. He can't shoot.
He really can, dude. It's actually
he can't shoot a lick.
Him and Ben Simmons, man, just can't put it together. Hey, I'll teach him. Hey, best jump shot that's textbook right there.
Textbook. But you guys got any any closing remarks on either the game or just the NBA? Fred, you got anything?
It's going to be a fun year, man. Excited to watch the Lakers just dominate everybody.
Caleb, you got anything?
It's
Questions or
interesting.
anything?
It's interesting to see what's going to happen with all the games being postponed and everything. I really don't think there will be a cancellation of any kind, but it's interesting to see how it all play out, and as teams continue to miss guys and guys get hurt and whatnot. So this is a very interesting year where anything can happen.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to watch Brooklyn too, see how they play together.
Yeah, the NBA is starting to tighten their protocols when it comes to, mask and all of that, and where a player can be. They've decided to cut out players can't go to restaurants on road trips. They decided to pretty much confine them to their hotel room, which to cancel the spread and to limit the amount of people you come in contact with. I completely understand, especially whenever you're trying to pull this thing off, where people are traveling all over the world and they come in contact with family members and everything else. It's going to take a lot out of the league to get this done, but I think they will. And I think it's going to be fun. But yeah, and they sent a memo, and something I think that the league should do and look into is adding some roster spots. Let give them like some COVID guys to where, like, if you're out some players to limit postponements, you give a couple like more two-way option guys to where they can kind of stay away from the team, but be practicing in some sort of form to where they are in game shape, they are game ready. And that if, players are out with the COVID protocol, they can start throwing in these two-way guys and still be able to play. So I think that the league, they're strongly considering adding one roster spot to all NBA teams. I don't think one's enough. I would think two or three, but who am I?
Isaiah Briscoe is going to get his time to shine then, Fred.
Hey, you know who's sitting at home right now in the 859? Dominique Hawkins. You're kidding me. And another guy, Fred Weisner. I heard he's feeling real good. Have you ever seen somebody put that in that shooting pocket that quick? That's just pure.
Yeah, Duncan Robinson every night.
Yeah, he's incredible. And JJ Redick too, man. JJ Redick gets that thing out.
Yeah. But yeah, so that kind of concludes our NBA segment, and we're kind of just touch base as we always do on Kentucky. They go tomorrow on the road to Auburn. It should be a tough little game. Auburn's not their best. Kentucky's not their best. Real quick.
I disagree.
You think Auburn's at their best right now?
Yeah.
Well, Sharif Cooper's back. Cooper's tough. And, we don't really have like a defensive stopper when it comes to like a point guard. We throw
Dominique Hawkins.
We throw Jacob Toppin on the team's best player, and he does a really good job. But, saying a defensive stopper, I don't think he's that. But, you look at the line right now, Auburn's favored by 1. So they expect this to be a very close game. Two teams that are, Auburn's in a self-imposed ban right now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not going to the postseason.
Yeah. So, this season they're 7-6. Bruce Pearl probably calling a shot, thinking his team's not going to be very good. So he's just imposing a ban. And because he knows if things got a little rocky, they would be hit with a steeper penalty. But Kentucky 4-7, they're riding. They're playing okay. They shouldn't have played their last game. I thought that was ridiculous that they played. A lot going on the campus. Rest in peace to the young man that lost his life, who was a walk-on last season for the Wildcats. I thought that was really bizarre for them to play that game, especially with everything going on in Lexington. I had a buddy who goes to the school. He texted me and he was like, dude, everybody at school right now, like, we're very down. And, it's not even like these people knew him. But he said, like, it's just a weird feeling on the campus. Like, everybody was sad. Everybody didn't know, and it's just crazy because these guys who played with him or who, got to practice with him, and they lost a buddy, they lost a teammate, and then you're expecting them to go play against one of the best in the SEC. I thought that was really
Let me say one thing about Ben Jordan real quick.
Say it.
And I'm sure a lot of baseball guys, I know you guys aren't into baseball as much as I am, but probably one of the best Kentucky prospects we've had outside of Joe Adele in recent history. Coming out of high school, man, he was chucking that thing 98. He was
big dude,
big baseball, big baseball guy. And then he stepped in when Cal needed him and he was a baseball star. He was one of Kentucky's best pitchers, and the selfless act of doing that just to help a team out and a university out. That's definitely
shouts out Ben.
Yeah, and prayers up to him and his family.
To your family, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, kind of just to reiterate, I don't understand why they played, and they looked really bad. They looked slow out of the gate. They looked slow all game. They looked a little bit out of tune. They didn't look locked in, and And they every time they tried pushing them, but they just couldn't get over the hump. And Alabama's one of the best in
Yeah, I
the,
was
in
gonna
the
say,
SEC.
don't and that
Tom Petty's tough, man.
He's a
John
senior,
Petty's-
man.
he's been there 8 years.
Yeah, he's been there
I
forever.
know.
8 years.
He's a grown man out there, but still,
Yeah.
he's tough.
But yeah, so they go on the road to Auburn. So what do you expect from this game, Fred? Do you expect to bounce back from the Cats?
I do. I think Keon Brooks has a big game. I think Davion Mintz has a big game. I think Sarr has a big game. I think the upperclassmen, even though Keon's only sophomore, the older guys really step up, make a difference. I really think Terrence Clark does anybody know when he's coming back?
Who knows?
I think he'll
I
make a
haven't heard
difference. I
anything.
mean, I don't know. It's so hard to judge this team this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. They'll be fine. I think they'll win this game if that's what you're asking me. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but I think they'll win.
What do you think, Caleb?
I'll go Auburn. I just think it's like you said, it's like teams circle the big game. Teams, no matter how good you are, when you play Kentucky, you want to prove a point. Sharif Cooper being here now, I think he's going to want to prove something to recruit or to scouts. And
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, what better time to do it than when you're on stage at Kentucky, no matter who they have out there. I mean, Brandon Boston, like go out there and prove you're better than Brandon Boston. Not that he necessarily is or not, but like like if I'm that kind of guy, like I'm taking on that kind of that challenge. And so I think Auburn's going to want to come out here and prove something. And I think on the road, I don't have faith in the Cats to pull it out.
Yeah, Auburn scores a lot of points.
I agree. Auburn's good. I agree. I don't think they'll win, but I agree.
Yeah, three out of the last 5 games that they've played, they've scored 85, 90, and 95. They've lost 4 out of their last 5. And so, and in those losses, they lost one when they scored 85. They lost one where they scored 90 to Alabama. But then they also lost where 2 of their games were in the 60s. And I think that's where Kentucky kind of sits, is they kind of hover in that 60 range. And I think it's going to be, a, like you said, an ugly game. And I expect UK to pull one out by about 5 points. So give me the Cats in this one. I expect them to bounce back. They're a struggling little group. They're trying to figure it out. And
with a team that scores that much, like the Cats are really, really good in transition. It's kind of interesting to see how often they're going to get out in transition with a team scoring.
If there's a game for BJ Boston to get out of the slump and to kind of prove himself as a top 10 NBA pick like he was coming in.
That boy's sleeping in the slump, man. He is living in it.
Yeah, it's time for him to
just
come out.
Just to the fans, just root him on. Don't be hard on him.
He's only here for a few more months. If you don't like him that much, just know he's only here for a few more months. He's not.
You should love him. He's a part of your team. He's a part of your family. This is the Kentucky family. Yeah. Meow.
But
whoa.
Yeah, that is about all we have planned. Quick shout out to the guys, man. Appreciate you, Fred. Always appreciate you, Caleb, for joining us. Welcome to the X Factor family. You got any thoughts about joining us? You want to hit the fans with a goodbye here?
I'm excited, man. Can't wait to see what's coming. I got a lot of ideas on my own for my own videos coming out, with you guys joining in and stuff. And especially now that I'm in quarantine for 14 days, I'll have a lot of stuff.
Got a lot of time.
Yeah.
Good luck. Keep Caleb in your thoughts and prayers.
Yes, sir. And Fred, get us out of here, man.
Well, first of all, Caleb, welcome to the X Factor family. Love having you. Keep changing the game, be an X Factor, be different. Guys, thank you so much for an awesome podcast. I think it was really well put together, as always. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Remember, don't be a star, don't be a superstar. Be an X Factor, change the game. God bless, and peace out.
Peace.